Hey everybody, two in one day. Don't know if you're blessed or cursed or indifferent. Could be any of those. Probably cursed. Anyhow, I was talking to a good friend of mine last night, Ben. Grew up together. Fantastic guy. Give you the shirt off his back. Just a hell of a good guy. Got me thinking about some of the crazy stuff that we did as kids. So this is going to be one of my growing up 80's series, the Maddog Chronicles. In junior high, I'd annoyed into Ben with the nickname Mad Dog, which I still call him Mad Dog to this day. Some 35, 36 years later. That was based off of the character Mad Dog Smears on HBO's comedy First and Ten, which I was entirely too young to be watching at that time. But I loved that show. But I digress. Anyhow, Mad Dog lived up to that nickname. All, all you had to do to get Mad Dog ready to go and psyched up is just chant Mad Dog, Mad Dog, Mad Dog. When that happened, it was on. I don't know how many fish, goldfish, Mad Dog consumed at fairs, festivals, and carnivals across central Ohio. It was a lot. Consumed live. One of our famous tricks that we thought was funny as hell and used to try to pick up ladies. I don't think it ever worked. In fact, it had quite the polar opposite of what we were trying to accomplish. Mad Dog has double jointed elbows, so he can pop his elbow out, which is fantastic. We just loved it as kids. So our shtick was he would go up and talk to girls, and he would just turn his arm slightly, um, so that it was kind of cocked inward. And I'd come up and say, "Hey, Mad Dog, how you doing? Hadn't seen you all day." And I'd tap him on the elbow, and he would then throw his double jointed elbow out of socket and start screaming and writhing in pain. It was just the funniest thing ever. The looks on people's faces. Mm, good times. But there's one particular story that has stood out to me for all this time. Well, there's many. I told you the story of getting shot off the fence before. That was Mad Dog with a BB gun. He shot me off the fence. There was many, but the one I'm gonna recall today is a junior high story. In junior high, there were two loops that you would run to get warmed up for practice. There was the big loop and the small loop, if I remember right. And the distance runners would run the large loop, obviously, because they're distance runners. And then the field events and the sprinters and everybody else would run the small loop, which was maybe a mile, a couple mile, maybe mile and a half, maybe. I don't remember that um, exactly. So that part of the story is probably not accurate. It wasn't super long. It was more than a mile, but I don't think it was. Hell, it might have been 3, and the large loop was 5. I don't. Maybe it was that. That's not the point of the story. Anyhow, point of the story. We were running the small loop, and I was running with Mad Dog and a few other people. And this loop took us through the covered bridge at the Miller Sports Sweet Corn Festival. This covered bridge, that's a great story. I'll have to tell another time, but it was rescued. It was actually a covered bridge that was in use in our area. And they took it out of service and transported it to the Millersport Sweet Corn Festival grounds, where it still sits to this day as a memorial. Kind of a museum, not so much a memorial, but kind of a historical piece. That's better. Well, growing up, whether the bridge was across the creek, it was intended to be, and I can't remember if it was on Coon Path or what road it was. Yes, Coon Path is a road. I couldn't remember what road it was on, but it was on one of those roads, one of those backcountry roads. But kids would spray paint graffiti in it and all that stuff. And same thing when it got moved up to the Millersport Sweet Corn Festival for quite some time. Now it looks like it's calmed down over the years, but people would paint graffiti in it. Kids would hang out in it, smoke cigarettes, chew tobacco. It was kind of the place to be. Kind of tucked away in a corner of the festival grounds, away from everybody. Not a lot of people there. So we're running the small loop through this bridge, and we're not in any hurry to get back. So we're screwing around and climbing on the boards and the rails and just doing what junior high kids do, seeing how high we can climb up in there. And during the climb, I stumbled across a can of, I believe, Schlitz malt liquor, if I remember correctly. It might have been some nasty beer like Old Milwaukee, but I believe it was the Schlitz malt liquor. Something that just rancid nasty. And this was a very warm day in central Ohio. It was easily in the 80s for a good spring day, warm day. Who knows how long that can had been sitting in that bridge? Hell, it could have been sitting in there since they moved it. I doubt it, because people snuck up there to drink too. But somebody had stashed their beer up there, their malt liquor up there, and that was either a can left over or something of that nature. So Mad Dog was with me. Mad Dog, Mad Dog, Mad Dog. He snatches the can out of my hand, opens it up like a champion, chugs the whole thing. That thing had to be, it was, I mean, talk about hot. It wasn't warm, it was hot. And it had been hot for a while. So the inside temperature of that thing had to be, God, who knows, very hot. Got it all down, one chug. Super impressed. Because we had, at that time in our lives, I never drank any alcohol or anything like that. So we figured out, we better get back. The distance runners, you didn't want to get beat back. That would be quite embarrassing if the distance runners ran the long, big loop and you ran the short loop and they beat you back. It happens sometimes, especially the bigger guys that did the field events. Or in our case, if you were screwing around, which we were screwing around. So we take off and start running back, and we get 100 steps maybe. And I just hear this god-awful noise, just gut-wrenching noise. Almost like a blood-curdling scream that would just stop you in your tracks. And I froze instantly and turned around. And there was Mad Dog, doubled over, losing everything he had for lunch probably for the last 3 weeks. It hit him pretty hard. And we laughed and laughed and laughed and laughed so hard we fell on the ground, and it was just the funniest thing ever. And I forget who was all with us that day. There was a few others with us. After we're done, Mad Dog wipes off his mouth, and off we go. Back to track practice like nothing ever happened. But that was growing up in the 80s. Growing up in the 80s where everything wasn't so crazy and serious, and people still went outside and horsed around. And you don't see that much these days. But anyhow, that's the story. There's a ton of Mad Dog stories, but that's one of my favorites, without question. And we laugh about it to this day. Laugh about it to this day. So that's my story. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Growing up in the 80s, the Maddog Chronicles. Anyhow, everybody, have a great day. Oh, pipe, Nording, freehand, seagull. Mrs. Buckeye says this is the ugliest pipe I own. She hates it. So I got to smoke it. And not because she hates it, just because it's a pipe. And I hadn't smoked it in a while, so I thought I would. Yeah, be well, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Wash your damn hands. And get outside and enjoy some nature. Just a word of advice. I wouldn't drink super hot malt liquor out of a can. It's been stashed for God knows how long in a covered bridge. Not a good combo. So anyhow, be well, folks. Take care. We'll catch you next time.